Well, I'll tell you what, those are the kind of weeks you want at the barn, both on the track and in the barn. A great week, top to bottom. We'll talk about the racehorses today. We started with the babies. I wanted to come back Tuesday, so Saturday, Tuesday's tight. I wanted to go slower miles today and just have the horses constantly moving and on their toes, so they learn to stop, start, stop, start, stop, start. I think it's very, very important to be able to do that. It helps them become much more versatile horses and extremely useful on the track. So not much to report in the training side of things from today, because it wasn't a flashy training day. It was just a work day, a leg day at the gym, so to speak. But man, oh man, they trained great this week, earlier on in the week. Really happy with what I saw from a number of horses. And if Tyler, I just dropped Ollie off at baseball practice, and if Tyler Angus is there, Jason, both Jasons, maybe I'll get an update on their thoughts on how the horses went this week and what they were thinking about the week in general here at the stable. So the babies we'll talk about in the 2-year-old section. I'm not going to do a top 10 list this week. I did it last week. Amy did it last week also. Now, if Tyler is around and has a few minutes, maybe I'll get a top 10 list from him, because he's gone with a lot of the horses and been around a lot of the horses. And again, he wasn't there when we bought them. He doesn't know the yearling videos. He doesn't know anything about the horses except what he's seen. So just the raw info. He doesn't know what we paid for them. Some of them he may not know who they're by or who they're out of. He's just giving you a look from the jog cart seat, which is important sometimes. And it's really hard to get that. It's really hard to get that view sometimes, because I know the backstory in all the horses, right? Even Jason and Amy, they know all the backstories, but Tyler may not. So maybe a very unique look at his thoughts in regards to the top 10 list. If I can wrangle him when I come back, he may be gone. If he is, then I'll look to do it this week. But for right now, I'm just happy to talk about the week we had. It started off Monday. We had 2 horses in. When you think of the week we had, we were surprised that Yo Mister won the Open very convincingly, 52-1 at Miami Valley on the 26th or 27th of February. That's a hell of a mile. Spitfire Overseas, won. I don't know if there was a top class, but if there was, he won the backup class. Drebin was a hard closing third on that night. Looks like Money got photoed out in the Open in 53-2 off 2 weeks at the Meadows, and Time Is On My Side won the Open pace yesterday. So that's the kind of week we had, with a lot of supporting help also. As I said, Drebin with that hard closing third place finish to Spitfire Overseas, and then you had a good mile from Cadeau finishing second. Tenacious Hanover coming off a break where I told you his ankle was bothering him a little bit. Just gave him a week off, worked on that ankle, had Dr. Lattès in, did some work on him. It was probably a week overdue, and that's why he ended up making the break. But it was nice to see him have that extra week, come back, and then finish up so strong the way he did. That in that race last week. And then on Wednesday, this was a week, a month, a time of year when we start trimming the roster, right? We start trimming some of the horses out that just look like they're not going to be stable horses. And 2 of them, well, definitely one of them, I don't know about the second one, but Bluebird Tuxedo Hill was definitely written on that list. How is he? He's not going to have too many more starts with us if he doesn't race well. He actually did go out and race well. The only problem I have with him now is trying to get him in full time. Now he's a maiden trotter. I'm going to have a look at Miami Valley, which I'm sure they're going plenty fast. Northfield Park again. We didn't get him in this week because we just tried to have the repeat of last week, where he was going to be entered at the Meadows. First also eligible he was this week, and we'll see if we can get him in on Thursday. But a good mile from him. Finished third, trotted 59. That was it was by far the best mile of his life. Not by any means a sparkling line. We're like, oh my God, who's this horse? But at the same time, who is this horse? Because this is a horse that, we had high hopes for and expectations. We'll talk about her too. High expectations last year, 2024. They didn't come to fruition, right? He didn't turn out to be a nice horse. We gave him the time off. That's right, I'm drinking Sunny D. I don't know why. We gave him the time off, brought him back. Again, how would he come back? There was no glowing reports of his training from Ontario, other than to say, I told you I thought he looked good, but would that translate into faster miles? You know, a better horse? I had no idea. And I'm certainly not advocating for Bluebird Tuxedo Hill being a killer moving forward. He may still have days numbered here at the stable, but the mile he went the other day was impressive. Now, impressive because our expectations have been lowered, of course, yes, but impressive nonetheless. I was happy with Bluebird Tuxedo Hill. And then Never Lose Felix. I thought as I said to you guys the other day, I think there's a lot more under the surface there. He raced good, but I think there's a lot more to offer, and I can't wait to see what he's going to do over his next 2, 3, 4 starts. He's going to be in that series, him and Westland Warrior, next week. We'll talk about him in a minute too. They're going to be in that trotting series next week. Now, we have a qualifier coming up for Manhattan Money who also fits that series, but he was a couple of weeks late getting here. He's not here yet, but getting to the races. He'll qualify next week, and then we'll go from there. What we might do is let him hang out with the maiden trot for a little bit at Mohawk, catch that second series, which is actually the 3-year-old series, and go from there. Go from there with him. But I thought Never Lose Felix raced very, very good. And then obviously that was the evening that Yo Mister was, you have to use a better word, was dazzling. I don't use dazzling very much. I don't know if I like it. But he was very, very good on Wednesday evening. Now we come out Thursday afternoon. Mounts for All was sneaky good. If you go back and watch a replay and watch what happened getting into the last turn, I was kind of shoved 3 deep. I know that Chris wanted to get his horse moving, but I put myself in that position. You know, the only breaks that Mounts for All has ever made on us was starting down the backstretch or halfway down the backstretch when you really asked him and went to put him in gear. And I just wanted to keep him out of harm's way. Had I known that Chris was actually thinking of contemplating coming out, I would have simply beat him to the punch and put him in gear a little quicker. In hindsight, that wouldn't have been a problem, and quite frankly, in hindsight, he would have been heading to the winner's circle. Had I done that, he wouldn't have been 3 wide all the way around the last turn, 4 wide coming out of the last turn, and beat a length and a quarter. He would have been advancing in the 2 wide lane, fanned him out into the 4 wide lane, and away you go. And that's exactly how the race would have went had that not happened. So a good race for Mounts for All. He's probably sitting on a win in that class. He's starting to get better every week. A mile 56 the other day was a good mile. Looks Like Money was tremendous. Parked to the quarter in 27 flat. You know, took over the lead and just beat a Whisker in 53-2. The horse raced very, very good. Really, really happy with the way Looks Like Money has been racing. Texsong Soprano, my apologies to all my partners. Certainly my apologies to Megan and Scott. The horse raced great. 4th in the Open. Those are some killers that he raced against, especially on a half-mile track. For him to get away 4th, hold his position, really didn't look to me like he gave up an ounce of ground in the mile, and I thought he raced rather well. I was really, really happy with what I saw from Texsong Soprano. Chevron's Bypass broke a hobble, made a break. In fairness, I had a couple people say, you know, that's not very fair. Horse broke a hobble. We didn't even get to see what she was going to do. It was James's understanding, and I can't say that he's wrong. I've seen this happen before. She broke the hobble after she made the break, is what he said. He said, Anthony, I know that it shows broken equipment and whatever. He said, but I actually think she broke the hobble after she made the break, which happens. Obviously, especially if you make any sort of violent break, potholes, any sort of violent break, you lunge forward when you do. If that hobble has any sort of vulnerabilities, it's going to snap, and that's exactly what took place. So Chevron's Bypass, I will tell you this right now, I've known Carmen Osiello a long time, and this is the type of horse where you'd be like, geez, she looks good. She might step forward for Carmen, I don't know. You know, Jason had her here, Dominic had her there, we've had her in a number of places, raced her, I've driven her. Just an okay horse. You know, I'm certainly not going to say that she's going to race in the Open someday. I don't believe that for a fact. But she could end up being a decent horse. I would like to see a few starts in that class and let her come forward, but that's not an option, right? We don't have that option to do that when you put her in a claimer. And quite frankly, with all the good horses we have racing right now, I don't think I'm that worried about Chevron's Bypass leaving the barn. So that was our Thursday evening. Pretty good day. Mounds was good. Looks Like Money, very, very good. Texan Soprano was good also. And then we lost Chevron's Bypass, who ended up making a break in the mile. What is with this road? God. Where are we at? Bosnia? That is the bumpiest, worst road I've ever seen. Ever. Good riddance. Wow. And then we went to Friday. You don't get much better than Friday. We were a simple maneuver in the first turn away from sweeping all 5 races. If Jeremy, and he drove the horse right, I beat him to the first turn, Dave Pallone took over, Jeremy moved his horse to the front. If Jeremy stays third, ends up first over, and runs Dave, I'd probably win the race. But as it turns out, we sat third, lost a little ground in the last turn, and then JK Victory finished up really well. Mile and 52 and 3 to finish third. He raced awesome. So many questions left in the day. I told you with Timus on my side the week before, he really had no interest in leaving. So I didn't know what would happen when they said go. I was going to leave it up to him. If he felt at all like he wanted to get out of there, and then at 3 to 5, I was going to assert myself off the gate, which is exactly what we did. Now, if he didn't, that's not to say he couldn't have won from behind either. I don't know. He's a good horse, and he certainly proved it the other day. You can take note of the mile. The second quarter and the last quarter were a little slower than you'd like, or than you'd think that they would be in those classes, but it was very, very windy. That's why you saw a fast first quarter and third quarter from every field that day, but most definitely that one. 26 and 3, we got parked to the quarter, cleared to the front. I think 55 and 3 maybe was the half, and the next half in 55 and 3 also for a mile. 51 and 1. He was very, very good. Now I left the Meadows very happy, high on Times on my sides race, super happy with JK Victory. Get over the track. He looked good. He was competitive. We can build off that. Then I tune into Mohawk. How would Oh Hill No do? Jogged, and looked very, very good in doing it. The next one was the one that had me the most curious all day. Rosetta. A lot riding on that race. If she's no good, she's on a truck back to Ohio immediately. If she's good, what did James think of her? If she's okay, what did James think of her? Ultimately, what did James think of her? He said she was good, a little bumpy down by the wire, had to watch her. She almost made a break. She touches that right hind, obviously. That's always been her issue. So what would happen with Rosetta? We took the hood off her, put earplugs on her. I said, James, would you like to close her up, put a hood with cups on her, or a closed brattle? He said, no, let's just do one thing at a time. We just put the earplugs on her. James got her away from the gate well, and she's in a position where she's always competitive, and she was stalking. This is where she would want to be, sitting in the 2-hole behind a horse that maybe looked a little vulnerable. When James moved her, she attacked right away, cleared to the front. You'd see her get out of gear down the lane, but don't kid yourself. She had an eye on those 2 horses also, and did enough to get there. My take on it is simple. She's going to have to learn to race on a big track. Yes, I know, as James said, and he was right, when you get to Kentucky, barefoot, she probably would be better. What he means by that is you're not going to see them strike themselves as much and with such authority as they would with shoes on. So she probably would be better in Lexington, but I want her to learn to work through it on a big track. She wasn't going to learn to do that at Northfield Park or the Meadows. It was going to have to be a bigger venue, and that's exactly what she did last night. A big step forward. She's gonna be very good her next start. I know this filly. She loves her work, and she's rather good at it. So I suspect what you're going to see is her grow up to be a pretty decent filly. Does that mean she gets a trip to New Jersey? She's quite a ways from the New Jersey sires just yet. She's going to have to grow up quite a bit to get there. But there's lots of racing for horses that can do the numbers of 2, 3, and 4 classifications at Mohawk, at Northfield, at Oak Grove, and certainly stake races at Lexington. I'm not as focused on New Jersey, but if she pushes my gaze that way, then absolutely 100%. And then the last race night, I was super curious how James was going to race Foxy Seaside. And what I was most happy about was that when she cleared to the front, she showed some of that merciless behavior where she cleared and drove away. And she was so cool. She wears an open bridle. Watch the replay and zoom in if you can, or at least look closely at her eyes. It's almost like she's looking behind her the whole way down the lane, but she's still advancing away from them, which is important. That's a good learning tool. James drove her perfect. Listen, we swept all of our Ontario starters on Friday. That is incredibly hard to do at Mohawk Raceway. It is a tough place to race. And we did it with 2 of our horses winning with the earplugs in. So a great job to Harry Polton and Dominic Gladue. They did a tremendous job with those horses this week. Tim Twaddle, we won the Open with Time Is On My Side, just beat with Looks Like Money. A great week there. A great job by Stacy with Yo Mister, and obviously Jason continues to work. We have limited resources right now. We're trying to get our horses in the non-winners of 2, 3, and 4. Our open trotter, for the most part, at least advancing in that direction, is 3 Point Blue Chip. He's picked to win Sunday night, so we're hopeful that he'll race well. Our open pacer, Patrick's not really an open pacer right now, and Save American, Rock Shining Star. Well, Save American racer, Rock Shining Star not so much. They're both on their way back now. They've been in for a week. They'll start training next weekend, likely. So, as I said, a great week with the babies. Definitely the way that I want to feel during stake payment season. Because as stressful as it is, obviously, every time we put one on the win column, it always helps quite a bit. Tonight, 7:30, we have Memory and Imagination, who's picked to win also. He should do well tonight at Mohawk, or at Northfield Park, down in the condition claimer. Now, a little bit tougher at Mohawk. Blue Ventura and Trosa are racing together. Trosa's a better horse right now, and Blue Ventura raced well last week, but he'll be heading over to the Meadows at some point to race. Arson is in tonight. Shorter field and open. Again, I just want to see the horse look better tonight. He can race with those horses. He needed 2 starts. This is his second. I'd love to see him get a third, but I'm not going to watch him flounder in Ontario. If it comes to that, we could easily move Time Is On My Side over there. I don't think he's going to get in next weekend anyway. He could race at Mohawk, get a short break in Ontario, and then go back into training. For Arson, he could come over to Mohawk, over to the Meadows and race also, but it still doesn't fix the next week problem. You know, he could race in Northfield next weekend, I suppose, and then go to the Meadows, beat around there until we get Save America back. But first and foremost, we need to be proactive. I do not want to be flat-footed in the spring and pick up the phone and hear, oh, Anthony, the horse didn't get in, and not have a plan if he or she did not. We need to be proactive with our entries, especially when it comes to horses like Arson, like Blue Ventura even, Time Is On My Side, all those horses. If they're not getting in, now what? Now, Time is a little different because he is going to need a break. I'm going to have to calculate the days exactly when we go home. I'd like to see him have 2.5, 3 weeks in the field and then come back with 3 weeks of jogging and training and be ready. At that 6-week mark, I want him ready to race, on his toes, and ready to put in an honest effort wherever we race him. That will be the plan for Time Is On My Side. He has the Charles Jaravinsky on his calendar. Are we going to go there? I don't know yet. He has the Graduate on his calendar. Is that somewhere we're going to start him in? I don't know yet. We'll see. But I want to make sure we have all our options open. But our timing needs to be on point also. Trosa and Neptune also race today. As I said, Trosa's in with Blue Ventura. That's a bit of a lopsided bout at this point just yet. And Neptune, I'd like to see a good mile from this horse. Also, 8-1 down in the numbers of 25,000 class. This horse needs to come forward soon. 3 Point Blue Chip and Patrick DePrano tomorrow. I can tell you right now, Patrick DePrano is an automatic pitch. I think he might even be in a 10-horse field, isn't he? I don't know. But he's got the 8-hole. That is a uphill battle. And 3 Point Blue Chip also outside. But I'm going to come forward with him off the car on Sunday evening. And then Monday, Spitfire Overseas is going to go into the Open with Jody Jameson. James took the Migo Volo horse. So Spitfire 6-1. Drebin is 9-2. Is 9-2 in a good spot with James driving him. I expect a good mile from him. And Greatest Ending is in at Miami Valley, 7-2. He's down in class also. I guess I'll give you Tuesday while I'm here. So far, we have Tenacious Hanover, 8-hole. You can almost pitch him. That is a 10-horse field. It's not looking like we're going to be in the same zip code at the quarter pole. And Dancing by Myself, this is it. I want to see a good mile from this horse. He's a better horse than he shows. I'd like to see a better mile from him. So that is what took place this week. The babies were awesome. Very, very happy. Let me see if I can just pull up the set list. I'll give you highlights. Horses that really impressed me this week. Yeah, I can give you that. Jailbird Jog continues to be impressive. Supermind was impressive today. Slow mile, but looked very, very good. Emerald Tom is one of the sneaky good horses we have right now. We don't talk enough about him. He has been on fire of late. Leland Hanover looked good. Captain Doolittle, for all my partners in Captain Doolittle, got him squared away, and he's trotting very, very good. We were screaming into the turn, and he ran in a little bit today and made a little break, but come right up trotting. Before that, though, his last 3 miles, he was great. In fact, he won his training set in 2:41 on Wednesday, I believe. Don't Ask Again was good. Pretty Eyes and Lies was good. Joe J. Fotag was better. She had a heavy lifting week, but it did her some good. She was good training today. Here's the Fearless Peter, another horse we don't talk enough about. He was awesome. Sterling Hanover just got beat in his set, but he was closing in at the wire. Rico Tubbs was good. Rose Run Bobby, much better today. I went with her. She was awesome. Cherry's Girls coming around. She looked very good also. Go Strong Hanover, super strong today. And Megan's Lucky Day was good also. Neuromancer was lights out awesome on Wednesday. I was super happy with that horse. Judy's Money continues to look good on Sarah. Tomboy Strong, Steady Volo was awesome. Blue Rare, didn't train her today, and I don't care. She was fantastic on Wednesday, her and Steady Volo. All the Pacers have been doing their work in that set very well. Sweet Lake, Millie Girl was good. I was wrong. The report I got, I thought that Perfect Thought won the set. Amy beat them up with Millie Girl. She won, and Amy said very easily and very good on Wednesday. Perfect Thought has been awesome. Riding the Rodeo, Delsa Della Donza, Swaney has been good. Solidarity is getting better every week. Got to get those splints crowd. He may not be able to go Tuesday because they should be crowding them right now. Hanger One, I just trained him by himself today. I've been happy with him, but he likes 228 to 232, so I'm gonna have to put him in a stronger set on Tuesday. Jolene Hall, Love Sensation, Perfection Hanover, Steph's Hope, AC/DC, all doing the work really, really well. So literally, you guys know I'm an optimistic person. There is not one horse in our midst that I'm concerned about right now. Not one. Baby-wise. So with that, that's your opening. Very happy with the racehorses. Some of our bigger guns, they're on their way soon, right? And the horses that raced this week look pretty freaking good too. So it's been a great week at the barn. I love doing videos like this. No concerns, maybe they'll get better next week. It was a good week at the barn, and I'd love to continue it into next week. So with that, I'm going to let you go. I hope you guys had a wonderful week, a great weekend. I hope the weather was better wherever you are, because it was nasty today. Anyway, take care. I'll talk to you all very soon.